Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. First of all, may I pay homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One, the Exalted One, and the Supremely Enlightened One. May I pay homage to the Dhamma, the teachings of the fully enlightened one, and may I pay homage to the Sangha, both the noble ones and the present Sanghas in today's world. May I respect to the most venerables, and my dear friends in Dhamma, who has always been watching live. Dhamma greetings and good evening to all the Buddhist devotees, all the upasaka, upasikas, and all those interested people in listening Dhamma here now who has been watching live. And usually I come here every Friday whenever I'm free, whenever I'm available here to present to you about the Dhamma, to give you the Dhamma talk, the Dhamma teachings in different issues. And as usual, today also I'm here to provide you with useful Buddhist teachings. It might be about, let's say, different trends that has been happening in today's world related to the Dhamma teachings of the Buddha, or the stories, the Jataka stories. As you can see on the headline, the status of today's talk about evening Dhamma with Jataka stories. And I remember that a long time ago, maybe since last year, when this pandemic started outbursting, some of them suggested me that I should also tell you about the Jataka stories, right? So today, that's why I brought you about the Jataka stories, and I will continue the series of Jataka stories from today, as much as possible that I could provide to all the Buddhist devotees. So once again, good evening to everyone who has been listening, and if you are interested in listening Dhamma in English, where what Nakprok Facebook fan page has always been doing since the last year, please share this page so that you can let your loved ones or people who you know come to listen the Dhamma in English, and especially for those people who can understand English and also wants to listen the Dhamma in English, let's say. So please share this page to those people also, right? And I know that people might be busy within these days, right? Some might be working very hard, especially during the pandemic time like this. Everyone is fighting very hard to overcome this pandemic. And whenever I come here, I always talk about pandemic because we are in the situation, let's say, all around the world. And almost every country, every nation in this world is facing the same problem. So I couldn't stop to talk about pandemic, right? And so let's start today's discussion, or let's say today's topic that we'll be talking about, right? I believe that many Buddhist devotees, many upasaka upasakas who come to temple, who come to make merit, especially in Thailand, let's say, and also in all other Buddhist countries, they might know that in Buddhist teachings we teach different fundamental, different basic things to lay devotees, lay Buddhists, let's say, in order to maintain their life, right? Say, and among all these teachings, we also talk about these three dhammas, the very basic principles that has been taught since a long time ago, right? So let's say today I'll be talking about these three poisons, right? I think you've heard about the three poisons, right? We say we have this lobha, dosa, and moha. Lobha, the greed, dosa, the hatred, and moha, the delusion. And I will not talking about all these three topics today, but I will especially focus on greed, let's say, the lobha today. And there are also some interesting parts in here. And yes, I believe that people around the world know this term, right? Greed or lobha. I think as a normal human being, everyone has greed, right? Everyone can have greediness sometimes in their life, right? It might be small, it might be big. It depends upon each situation, the consequences they face in their daily life, right? And even in this Buddhist term called lobha, we can find it in many different situations. Some greed might be big, some might be small, but as we know that greed is a greed. But there are also some times when people need to be greedy, people need to be stingy when they have to benefit for someone, right? Let me give you an example. Like if you are a parent and you're providing, let's say, you're giving money to your children, right? And you've spoiled them by giving money each and every day, like let's say giving your pocket money, and your child is spoiled because of the money that you are providing them. You are not even strict to them. You just give whatever they want, money or whatever, and they're spoiled now. And as every time they come to you asking the same things, asking you the money to help them, and sometimes you fell for them and you provide money to them. So each time you give to them, they're trying to do the same thing. They're not even trying to do useful thing, beneficial thing from that money, but they're trying to let's say, do something, buy something which is unnecessary, which might be useless to them. But you love them. You're trying to give them by loving them. But let's say you're spoiling them. And one day you can, let's say, control, and you start to not give. You start to stop giving money to them, right? And some also might think that, is this greediness? Is this being stingy to your child? I think when it comes to a situation, when consequences in your life, being stingy in order to help someone get rid of doing useless things, unnecessary things, is a good thing, right? But being stingy every time is not that good. Sometimes we need to be charitable. Sometimes we need to be generous, right? Because in Buddhism, in Buddhist teachings, we talk about dana, or generosity. We let people to give dana, be generous, not only to monks or temples or charitable places, but also other living beings, like providing food for stray dogs, stray cats, and homeless peoples, are also some kind of generosity that we can provide in our life. So let me go back to the previous example, that stopping from giving money to your child when you have spoiled them. When the time comes, you have to end this, right? So you avoid by stopping, by not giving any money to them, by not helping what they want, because they need to learn what they're doing. If you start and if you keep on doing the same thing and you keep on spoiling your child, it might be a great suffering in the future, right? They might bring you risk or suffering, whatever thing we say, right? So we need to have control. We need to have limit of ourselves so that we can also teach them. So this is like controlling yourself. This is not being stingy or being greedy or being greedfulness, right? Which is different from when we are greedy, when someone comes to you to ask help and you do not help him. But so how can we be not be greedy, let's say? When someone comes to you, it doesn't need to be money or anything when they come to ask you help. But we should be beneficial for them. We should provide them as much help as we can by giving wiseful words, let's say, right? By encouraging them. Even the money, you don't have to give them the whole money, but it's all about how can we help them in that certain situation. That's the main thing here, right? So this is how not showing greediness, let's say. It's not only about money. It's not only about thinking of desireful things, pleasure, only want to keep but not give to others, even though you have the things you want, and when other comes to you for help, you are not helping them. So this is called the greediness. And as I mentioned in this talk earlier, that we have different kinds of greed. It might be small, big. It depends upon situation that you have. And how can we say that the thing that I'm doing is greedy or not? So as I told you, it depends upon situation. It depends upon the wholesome and unwholesome act that we do. And as I told you earlier today, I also have a story related to the greediness, right? This story is from the Jataka stories, or in Thai we say Nitan Chadok, right? This story was from a Jataka story. So let me explain that normally Jataka stories here means the tales, the folk tales related to the former life or prior life of the Buddha, and also the other Savakas or disciples of the Buddha. So there are many, lots and lots of Jataka stories, more than 500 prior life of the Buddha. So today I will be sharing you about one of the stories of the prior life of the Buddha, let's say, right? When this story shares you about, this story tells you about the greediness. So when a long time ago, when the Lord Buddha was born as a Brahmin in, let's say, in the ancient India, and he was let's say born in a second caste during the time of the ancient India. Like we have Kshatriya caste, right? During that time of the ancient India, we have Brahmin caste, we have Vaidya caste, and we have Shudra caste. And these are the four main caste systems in the ancient India. Like if you go in India or some part of Nepal, you can also see these kind of things even in today's world. So this was about the ancient time when Lord Buddha was born as a Brahmin in the ancient India, and he was married to a Brahmini lady, and both of them had 3 children, and their names was Nanda, Sunanda, and Sundarinanda, right? And all the 3 of them were female, their daughters, let's say. And one day, when the time came that the Brahmin, who was the prior life of the Buddha, he passed away. And after he passed away, he was born as a golden goose. I hope everyone knows golden goose, right? Goose, or like in Thai we say Suvarna Hong, right? He was born as a golden goose after he passed away from the Brahmin life, and he was born as a golden goose who could recall his former life or previous life, that as what he was born like. And as soon as he was born as a golden goose, he grew up in a goose family, and he started recalling all his memories back, that he was born as a human being, being born as a Brahmin, born in a Brahmin family, and he also had a wife and 3 children. So after the Brahmin passed away and born as a golden goose, it made the Brahmin's former family, the lady Brahmini and all the 3 children, right, in a very poor state. They were very poor, and they have to stay under other people's work, or let's say they had to have other people to come and hire them. And all the 3 children, all the 3 daughters of the Brahmin was married. But even though they were married, they were still suffering to live a good life, a better life, let's say. They had to wait for others to come and hire them, and they went to work as other people's servant. And when the golden goose, who was the former Brahmin, knew about this, he felt very sad. He felt very sad that, after I passed away, I couldn't even help my former wife and children. So how could I help them to have a better life? I want to let them live a free life without living under other people's hire or living as other people's servant. So what he did, what the golden goose did, was he flew to the Brahmini's house and hung up on next to, let's say, the window or whatever at their house, and tried to call her wife. And when the Brahmin's family saw this golden goose coming next to their house, sitting on a window next to their house, they were amazed that what a beautiful golden goose, and why it came to our house. And the golden goose, who was a former Brahmin, tried to explain that after he passed away from the life of Brahmin, he was born as a golden goose in let's say King Goose's family, and he could remember each and everything about the past life. And when he found out that his wife and children were suffering due to the passing away of the Brahmin, they couldn't even find a proper work to do. They had to work under some other people's as a servant or let them hire them to work, right? So he could not stare for this. So that's why he flew away to their house to help them. And what the golden goose did was that, okay, in order to let them live a better life, the only thing that the golden goose can do was to pluck his golden feather, or golden plumage. So he plucked each, only, let's say, his golden plumage, and gave them each one, and flew back away. And again, next time that golden goose came from the forest and came to the house and keep on doing the same thing, was plucking the plumage or feather, the golden feather, right? Plucking the golden feather and giving each one of them, giving the golden plumage, the golden feather to each one of them every time. So he keep on doing the same thing every time. Whenever he returns, he come to the house of the Brahmanis and he flew back. He come to the house of Brahmani, he flew back, just to give the golden feather. And only by collecting all these golden feather, let's say, the Brahmani and her children's sold those feather and became rich, keep on becoming rich, right? And they had a better life. They were better than the life they were living before. So after they were rich, the thing they did was, the lady Brahmani, the mother, plotted a scheme, telling their daughter that, oh my daughters, we have become so rich because this golden goose came to us. The golden goose, your former father who came to help us, which is so fortunate. And the plot that she was scheming, or that she was planning to do, was that she told her daughter that, oh my daughters, the next time the golden goose flew to our house, we will catch it, right? We'll try to catch it and pluck all his golden feathers, all the golden plumage that he has on his body, and we'll sell and become even richer than that. But her daughter refused that. We should not do like that, right? It is not good. But however, the Brahmini lady was so desired, so greedy, so into his greed that she didn't even listen to his daughters. So the next time when the golden goose flew to his house and tried to do the same thing, pluck his golden feather, plumage, and try to provide to each one of them. But what the Brahmini lady did was to catch a golden goose and keep with them for the whole life. As soon as she caught the golden goose, the thing she did was she started plucking the golden goose golden feather out of his body, plucking out one by one until the golden goose didn't have anything left in his body, on his body, right? He was naked. And unfortunately, what happened after that was the feather that the Brahmini lady plucked out of his body, of the golden goose body, turned from a golden feather to a normal feather. And they were amazed, right? And again, the Brahmini lady, the next thing that Brahmini lady did was that she tried to keep the golden goose with them for one more week and started to let the golden goose have new feathers, new golden feathers. And she tried to do the same thing, but the feather, the golden feather, turned into a normal feather, and she was amazed. And after that, after knowing this, she threw away the golden goose, because it was futile to just pluck the feathers, because it was not the golden feather anymore. And after the golden goose knew about this, he flew away from that house forever. Right? And the moral of the story, right, is that when you are greedy, when you are too much greedy, you will not even get a single thing from that, right? Even though you have the thing, but you are greedy to get more and more and more, you desire to get more, you will lose all the things you had, right? So this is the moral of the story. So I'm not sure how many people are watching, and as for people who just came in, I would like to give a Dhamma greetings them again. And today I shared the story about a golden goose, right? Golden goose. And this story shares you about when you are in greed, when you are greedy, when you are blinded by greedfulness, right? You know nothing about others. You are greedy to gain, to get more and more. And what happens next is that you will lose everything from your greed. So this is the greed that the Buddha want to show, right? And actually the story that I told you about the golden goose was that this was the time when the Lord Buddha, the Shakyamuni Buddha, was giving the teachings to the bhikkhunis at the Veluvana temple, or the Bamboo Grove temple in Shravasti in India. And when the enlightened one found out that there was a bhikkhuni, a female monk, who did not have any limits to eat the onions. So what she did was she wandered around the villages and asking for the onions to keep for herself, and right, she didn't know her limit, let's say. So that's why this Jataka tale was told to that bhikkhuni in order to show her that what greed can make us, right? And as I mentioned you earlier, that in the fundamental Buddhist teaching, let's say in basic teachings of the Buddha, we also have these three things called the three poisons, right? The lobha, dosa, and moha. Lobha, the greed; moha, the delusion; and dosa, the hatred. And all these three things are poison. And we can also relate that when someone has lobha, greed, so much greed that greed can make you blind and see nothing, even though it's right in front of your eye. That thing can also harm to other people near to us. Because of greed, you will get delusions. You are into it until you cannot see even the wholesome actions that's in front of you. Because the only thing that greedfulness or greediness can lead us is unsatisfaction. And due to that unsatisfaction, people are always dissatisfied with what they have. Even in today's world, people killing each other for money and all those things, unwholesome actions having all around the world, is because of these three things. And as a normal human being, everyone has these three things, lobha, dosa, moha. But the only thing that we should do is try to control it, right? I'm not telling you that you shouldn't be greedy in sometimes when in need, if it really can help someone rid of some bad thing. We also need to be greedy in some moment. But it depends upon the consequences, the situation that we have, let's say. So greedfulness or greediness can always lead us to unsatisfaction, because we are never enough. We always keep on needing more and more, and it will make us dissatisfied. And from this greediness, this lobha will lead us to delusion, moha, and also sometimes lead us to the unwholesome actions of the karma done from the dosa, the hatred, right? From greed to delusion, and delusion to hatred, which is putting oneself to unwholesome actions, akusala karma. So this is the cause and effect of all the three poisons, the lobha, dosa, and moha. And the story today that I shared with you today was about the golden goose. In Pali we say Suvarna Hangsa, Hangsa Jataka. You can also read these Jataka stories on Buddhist text on internet if you find Suvarna Hangsa Jataka. It's about the golden goose and teaching lesson about the greedy, right? So I think today I've talked enough about discussed enough about the Dhamma teachings today. I hope whoever came to listen me in Simple Talk to have a good evening, good night's sleep tonight. So before I end today's talk, I would like to greet each and every one with the power of the triple gems. Ratanataya Nubhavena, Ratanataya Tejasa, by the power of the triple gems, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. May they protect you. May your life be in peace and prosperous, healthy, wealthy life, and stay safe. Keep yourself safe from all the diseases, all the pandemic that has been causing trouble in this world. And until next time, we will meet again with me, Phramaha Ashir, with Simple Talk from Wat Nakprok Facebook fan page. So today I would like to end my small talk here, and until then we will meet next time, next week, whatsoever we have. So good night to everyone, have a good sleep, and Anumodana Sadhu to all the Buddhist devotees who have shared, liked this page, and always been following us in this page. Sadhu.